Hello, you bountiful bone gnawers. It's turn number 54 of my all Warhammer Nations Dominions 5 game. I'm playing as Skavenblight. Let's take a look. So you'll recall that we had started our war with the Orcs. We'd had a bit of back and forth, and so far it had been kind of, I would say, mixed success. Not quite as well as we'd hoped for it to go, but we've got the expectation of some big battles this turn. So let's see what happens. Well, firstly, we're calling up another Wraith Lord. I'm not going to be summoning another one of those this turn. I think 2 is enough for now, and I'm going to save up to get Well of Misery, I think, which I will need to get some forging in place so that I'm able to cast, because it's quite high death requirements. We have cast Mind Hunt with Vintis on one of the Orc provinces. Unfortunately, we did find a target, Wolf Smasher, who I imagine was probably Orc boss of some kind, but unfortunately they managed to resist the spell. Never mind, that's 3 Astral Gems wasted, but I think the people that you attack with that get a message saying that they attacked but they resisted, so it might make them worry about Astral Mages at least, which could be a good thing to put in their mind. We cast a Horde from Hell to help in our in the Throne province that we're trying to take. We cast a Voice of Tiamat, but we didn't find any magic sites, which is annoying. We're just not finding anything with Voice of Tiamat, so it's basically a big waste of our water gems, which sucks. But never mind. We have a magic battle phase attack from the Greenskins, so they have magic phased something in. Let's have a look at what it is. Well, it is 2 Clown Trapezes of Windmasters. They're Air 2 mages. They look like they're kitted out to be casting, air elementals. There's 2 castings of air elementals going on from 2 Windmasters. So 2 air elementals is, lesser elementals aren't that bad. They can be good against things that are big enough that they can't trample them because they'll shock them, which can be quite good at armor negating damage. But then the main thing is that they have sent their god. Pretty well equipped. They've got a Vine Shield, and they're obviously going for like a fear build with the Colossal Fetish here. So the Colossal Fetish is incredibly tough. He hasn't got any regen, but maybe he's going to cast regen. He's an innate spellcaster. Now this is very interesting. This means that even if he's completely tangled up fighting my guys, he'll just constantly cast, and there's nothing that the Orc player can do to stop him from constantly casting, which is interesting because he has got a fair bit. He's got no encumbrance because he's an inanimate, so he's not encumbered when he fights using these weapons, but he is encumbered just by wearing them for the purposes of casting spells. So he'll possibly heal fatigue out here, I'm not sure. He's got a bunch of nature gems, he's got cat charm, Stonebird. Stonebird smashes people in the face. It's a very nice misc extra attack there, and it's got good length. But he doesn't have good attack skill, so it's not really going to be hitting anything, so I'm not sure how well that's going to go for him. He's got a huge amount of defense skill thanks to Chainmail Displacement and Main Gosha parrying, but a defense build is possibly not the best thing to have in the Colossal Fetish. I guess it will mean that things that don't get through the Vine Shield don't work on him, but let's see what he casts. So we're casting some, on our side, I should show what we've got. This is before I moved all my guys in there, because this was going to be a Foul Vapors trap, but of course he magic moved me, so it's before all of my guys turn up. So what I've got is some guys casting some Summon Skeletons and Favour of Nurglitch, which is going to be extremely pointless. They were going to cast it on a big bunch of troops that'd be over here. I've got a bit of chaff at the front, a flamethrower. I've got a couple of warlocks, one warlock with a lifelong protection, which is very important to have in this battle. And I also have a lifelong protection over here on this assassin who unstealthed for the purposes of this battle. So I think they didn't know that they were there. And they didn't know the Spectrum Mage is there, so they were, which also has a lifelong protection. So I think they weren't expecting all these lifelong protections, basically. But let's just see what happens. I'm going to put it on slow. So he has just cast Iron Will to boost up his magic resistance, although I think he cast it on the Windmaster instead of on himself. Yep, he did, so that's unfortunate. They're casting lesser elementals. We've got some Phoenix power going off. Favour of Nurglitch to give poison resistance, but it's kind of pointless. That was for the Foul Vapors trap we were going to do. So we've got the imps going in, and they've already killed one of the Windmasters, and the other one's gonna in serious trouble. But here come the air elementals over to us. So one over here fighting our 2 plague priests, and they're long dead. And the other elemental is here fighting some troops. So this one's not going to do very well. It's going to get killed by these troops. We've cast a big fire elemental over there. I expect this air elemental will not do well. What was that? That just got cast. Strength of Giants. Okay, so yeah, this air elemental is basically doomed against our plague priests. They're tired, but they've got tons of long dead around them, and they're quite capable of fighting him themselves. So over here, the Windmasters are both dead, and this guy is now just getting covered in imps. And this is great for us because he's going to trample, which fatigues him a little bit. But he's also going to innate cast something every turn, so we're just going to have to watch what he casts as he tramples imps. And I think he just can't... Shockwave, okay, kills a bunch of imps. I think he just can't do enough to get out of this swarm of imps, because we've got 3 lifelong protections throwing stuff at him, so I think he's doomed to just time out, basically. But we'll see. So let's up the speed a little bit. Blade Wind, yeah, but still getting covered in imps and the rest of the chaff. They're still keeping him busy. What's his fatigue looking like? He doesn't have any method of losing this fatigue. Every time he's casting, he's just taking a bunch of fatigue. And those air gems are not doing him much good either. So yeah, he's just stumping some guys. He's doing fine. He's got fear, and some of the imps would run away if they weren't entangled, I think. So in come some of our troops now. Flamethrower, but they're not firing because there's all troops there. And in come the fire elementals and my plague priest. That's a bit unfortunate. I'd rather they didn't come in this close to the fight, but I guess they've gone berserk because they got trampled by the... it's one of the downfalls of plague priest. They got trampled by the air elementals, which really pissed them off. So they're now berserked and trying to charge it and hit him. Not ideal. The fire elementals being here and just heat-oring my own guys. It's not great either. Oh, plague priest's getting involved. Did one of them get roasted? No, they're both still alive. One of them got pretty badly shocked there. He got stunned by a shockwave. The Colossal Fetish has not taken any damage, but he is very fatigued. Yeah, he is now not moving anymore because he's over 100 fatigue, and the fire elementals have moved in. So he just took a hit off the plague priest. Can the fire elementals do anything against him? Well, he's got tons of protection, but they have armor-piercing attacks, so they halve the protection at least. All of this other stuff, repelling and things, isn't going to work because he's going to be asleep. His defense is not going to count because he'll be asleep. You know, it's too much fatigue. So I don't fancy his chances against these fire elementals. I think they'll be able to damage him. I might lose my plague priest though, just from him having berserked into the battle. Oh, a blade wind goes off, and he has put himself well into the sleep there. So let's see, we've got a fire elemental hitting him, and he's got no fire resistance, so he is now starting to take damage. I think he's taken about 15 points of damage already. Let's see if these fire elementals can get him. More imps and stuff coming in. Oh, a big hit from the fire elemental there. That's going straight in, and he's done a never healing wound straight away. His hit points are starting to drop. Let's speed things up a bit. That fire elemental just keeps hitting him every time he gets a shot. So the fire elemental's attack that it's using is this flame strike, which as you can see is pretty high damage, and it's armor piercing, and it can't miss. His defense doesn't matter at all against this fire elemental. So if he had fire resistance, I think he'd be doing a lot better here. But fundamentally, taking all that fatigue is terrible for him. No fire resistance. Oh, look at all this fatigue. I think this is from heat auras as well. Fire elementals. Yeah, he's slowly going down. He's down to about half his hit points. Just got hit by another big blast from the fire elemental there. He's getting some chip damage from just things attacking him, you know, long dead, imps, etc. But most of them getting vine shielded. I think the fire elemental can't reach him anymore now. Things pushed out of the way, which is good for him. But he's still taking all this chip damage. He's picked up another affliction. He's now mute. That's very bad. So his magic skills have dropped. Let's put it on max speed. He keeps taking hits. That was a big hit from a plague priest. His hit points are almost gone, so he is now, I think, doomed. The hits keep coming in. Doesn't have the regen or anything to get them back. He's dead. Yeah, so unfortunate. A nice try by the orcs. A good idea to catch me before I could move more stuff in. But he has lost his god in the process. And it really didn't cost me anything. A Warpfire team, 6 Plague Monks, 2 Clan Rats, who cares? A few gems as well. But yeah, took out 2 Windmasters and the Colossal Fetish, so a pretty big win there for us. Got a bit of site searching and didn't find any magic sites or anything. We have an assassin that missed. We have an assassin that went for an orc big boss. Let's watch this one. So it's night time. Somebody, an astute viewer, pointed out last time that orcs do in fact have dark vision of 50, which is not as good as the assassin's dark vision, which is perfect because they are trained to fight in total darkness, but it means they don't take much of a malus to their attack and defense from darkness. It's just -1. And this is the problem with trying to assassinate orcs. I'm going to hit a lot of their military commanders, which they have a lot of, and they're just really good at fighting. So the basic assassin without any items is not going to fare very well. So let's just turbo speed this one. Yeah, assassin takes a hit, he's in bad shape, and he's killed off. So that's a fail, but an assassin with no equipment is not a big loss for us, and it keeps the enemy thinking. We've got one going for a shaman. Now this worked out great for us last turn. An unequipped assassin can take a shaman, we know that. So it usually goes bark skin, Something like Frighten, he usually casts next. Yep, he's casting Frighten again. Takes a hit, it gets interrupted, and now he might cast Burning Hands. That's what he cast last time. No, he tries to attack, and he is going to get chopped to pieces. Goodbye. So taking out a Shaman's nice. They cost. They don't cost 240 because of the turmoil discount. They actually cost. So turmoil discount is 75. Yeah, so they're not 240. Let's have a look. We've got a miss on this assassination, and we've got an Orc War Boss rising. So this is an Orc who's almost on the edge of becoming a War Boss. So he's got tons of experience. Very, very dangerous. Our assassin is not going to win this fight. An unequipped assassin, nope. I think even a water elemental assassin wouldn't win this fight. But we can hope that he gets a hit in and does an affliction or something. Not so far. Not looking too great. Down to one arm, and he's routed. Yeah, so this is the trouble. Orc War Boss is very tough. Then we get to see some battles. The Lizardmen attacking Slaanesh in Gueladun. So this is a pretty nice force. We've got some Temple Guard, which are pretty good sacreds. They've got some more of their sacred troops. Really, Sacred Saurus are what they use, backed up by Chameleon Skinks. Some Razordons and a Slann of the 5th generation. Doesn't have a Communion though, so he's not going to be able to do that much. But he's just up against Province Defense, so we know that this one's going to be very easy. Let's not even bother to watch that. They didn't take any casualties, and they took their provinces back. We just like seeing a back and forth here. It's excellent to see that. Orcs attacking us in Robberhome. I'm going to come back to that one. Let's look at all the Lizardmen against Slaanesh battles first. So we've got one in the Silverwoods. Very similar force composition. They got one person there to bless. Do they have anyone capable of blessing this group? I don't think they do. But they're just up against Province Defense again. So, oh, they have a. Yeah, they can bless. They have some guys at the back to bless. They've got some of their teleporting guys. I love the little animation on the teleport where they fade in and out. Yeah, so another easy one for them there. They lost some Chameleon Skinks and a Saurus of Tepok that time, but it's really nothing. And they're taking back their stuff pretty effectively. And then a battle in Murius. Again, similar, but now they've got some Long Dead. They actually seem to have pretty good death income. They're just throwing their death gems into, having some troops and stuff. They were doing Arouse Hunger on me, obviously, to make ghouls attack me. So a bit more province defense here, but I would say that they're in pretty good shape. They'll do some damage off their charge. They'll kill some of these cavalry. Yeah, and then the Sacred Saurus will make short work of the heavy infantry. That's really a mismatch in their favour. And the Temple Guard will also easily defeat these. So let's just put this on turbo. Yeah, pretty good. I think they lost a couple of things there, but... Oh no, didn't lose anything. Wow. God, didn't even lose a Long Dead Horseman. That really is a testament to how decent this unit is, the Long Dead Horseman. It doesn't look like much, but that defense skill just keeps it alive. Even against enemy heavy cavalry, it was just didn't take any casualties. So, let's watch our battle in Robberhome. So in Robberhome... Oh, sorry, this is one of the provinces I pulled out of. Yeah, so I've got nothing in Robberhome. They just attack it with a small force. That was, I guess, a Warlock was there holding that one, and they've just taken it back. Cassian Forest is where we've got a much more important battle, so let's just have a quick look at Cassian Forest. Okay, so immediately, let's go through what they've got, what I've got, and then we'll just see, then I'll say what I was expecting to happen, and we'll see what actually unfolds. So, the Greenskin army doesn't have much in the way of mage support. I only see a couple of Shaman. I think maybe there's 3. Yeah, not very many Shaman in there. Is that a Night Goblin Shaman in there? I'm not sure. But you can already see that the Foul Vapors is up, and some of these have already taken quite a bit of poison. That's from my Pox Cauldron, of course. They've got Black Orcs. These will not last at all against Foul Vapors. They've got these Orcs and Orc Biggins, will not last at all against Foul Vapors. All of this stuff, all these Orcs, Orc Biggins and things, is not going to last. These Wolf Riders, I don't think are going to get anywhere. They're going to get caught up and stuff, and they won't last against Foul Vapors either. However, the most expensive part of their force, and the main thing they've brought, is tons of Night Goblin Loons. And these are starred up Night Goblin Loons. They've been around for a while. They are, 6 to a square. They hit fairly hard. They've got magic weapons, which is important for dealing things like fire elementals. They're going to cause me problems. So this is their main force. They've got an absolute ton of them. And we'll see how I do against that. So overall, not a terribly scary force, except for the Night Goblin Loons. And a crucial thing about them is that they have Poison Resistance 5 built into them. And then I believe they have Poison Resistance 5 in their Bless. So they're going to be up to 10. I'm just going to quickly unpause and then pause. So we can see their bless. Okay, we've got some blesses going off. Yeah, with their bless, poison resistance 10. If you recall, it gives them precision, air shield, shock resistance, poison resistance, hit points, and strength. And the strength is, of course, crucial for them because they need to hit a lot harder with their lunicicles. So they output a terrifying amount of damage per square. They're really, really nasty, and they've got an absolute ton of them. Of course, they're sacred, so they build anywhere, but you know they have a limit on how many they can have. And this is a lot they've committed. I think that might be 100 or so. Now on our side, we've got an absolute panoply of things. Quite a diverse cast here. Lots of foul spawn. We've got giant rats and things up front. This is all just chaff. We've got some fire snakes, which, you know, for us, they're kind of chaffy because we've got tons of fire gems, but they're actually pretty decent troops and they can really do a lot of damage. We have got quite a few weapons teams, particularly tons of poison wind mortars. I think we've got like 10 poison wind mortars scattered around here. They're all just going to be lobbing poison into these ranks, which will help with the foul vapors damage. Of course, we've got our foul vapors trap, which is the cauldron of 1,000 poxes. So it's immediately got the foul vapors up. And then we have a bunch of imps, which is from our various castings of Horde of Hell. We've got decent quality troops and plenty of sacreds. We've got plague monks. We've got an absolute phalanx of warlords here, tons of them. So, however, you can see. So I have got lots of Favor of Nurglitch queued up. And normally, if you were casting foul vapors, your poison resistant stuff would go off before the foul vapors goes off. But because of the Pox Cauldron having it as an automatic battle spell, it is activated immediately, which is great if the enemy is trying to do anti-poison resistant stuff, but it does put us in the bad position that some of our warlocks have immediately got hit with a bunch of poison, which is bad news for them. So we've also got one of our flame spirits there casting Phoenix Power, and he's going to be casting some other things. We've got a Death Frenzy going on. Let's just put it on slow and just pause it when something happens. So I think that's Warp Static going off there. The crazy graphic I put on Warp Static. Has it actually landed on anything? I don't know that it's actually landed on anything. I'm not sure where he targeted. Is it over here? Warp Static. We should see some charged body on the things that have been hit with Warp Static. I don't see it. Over here, this is the Favor of Nurglitch going off, so we now have big poison resistance on these guys, so that's good. Tons of Phoenix Powers and things going off, as we're going to be casting Summon Earth Power, Summon Phoenix Power, you know, casting Evocations and the like. Can I see where that Warp Static's gone? I think something may be bugged with Warp Static. My friend Olaf asked me to cast this because he particularly wanted to see it, so he's probably going to be a bit disappointed to see that it looks like it's bugged, because I think that if it had landed in the right place... Oh no! Warp Static got cast over here. Oh dear. He cast it in totally the wrong place. I wanted him to cast it over here on all this chaff. He has instead cast it on my guys on the back line here. So you can see they've got charged body. If they get hit, they'll just explode, because and the Devil's got charged body too. Oh dear. They'll take a load of shock damage, and they'll do a load of shock damage to the thing that hits them, which will kill them, which is great on chaff, but not great on these units, particularly because charged body also can set fire to you. Not charged body, but warp static can. So yeah, he warp static to the wrong group of people there. That kind of sucks. Oh well, you know, we have to try these things. So we can see we've got air projectiles coming in. We've cast some corpse candles and things to try and distract them. We've got the imps coming in. That's mostly from our Horde from Hell castings, but I think we've got some lifelong protections throwing people down here too. Round at the front, we've got a big warp scorch, and I think that was a... let's have a quick look on the list. Yeah, they've been hit with warp scorch. I think a magma eruption also hit this front group. We go to one of these. Well, no. But anyway, a lot of big fire evos just slammed into the front group of them and killed a lot. These guys, because they're size 1, are very vulnerable to that. Let's just go back to slow mode. So what have I got that I'm having to deal with? Well, they haven't really got anything coming from the edges of the battlefield or anything like that I'm having to deal with. I think that these Will-o'-the-Wisps... I think one of these Will-o'-the-Wisps is... yeah, I think they have cast some Will-o'-the-Wisps to try and... distractors. We can see some damage reversal going in there. Fire missiles, interesting. So they did cast flaming arrows, which is of course very good with all these javelins, and they've got lots of these goblin archers and things as well. So they've got flaming arrows up, which is pretty nice trick for them. They will absolutely murder all this chaff that's coming in with these javelins, but that's great because we're just distracting them in the meantime. My Poison Wind Globadiers and weapons teams are unfortunately getting distracted by the Will-O-Wisps, so that was a really good strategy on their part, just casting a bunch of Will-O-Wisps. But if you look at what's happening in the battle generally, we've got some of my warlocks are fatigued out or have taken a bit of poison damage. That's a bit unfortunate, but generally they're doing okay. I managed to warp statics on my weapons teams, which is a bit silly. But we've got now, yeah, the Troll King's doing okay. Basically, our stuff's doing okay. He unfortunately has very damaged and he's very poisoned. So the Adept of the Silver Order, I think he never. Yeah, that poison resistance, I guess, wasn't enough, and he already had taken some before it went off. So that's something to bear in mind with our Foul Vapor style traps, that we can easily poison our own guys to death. Yeah, so I regret that a little bit, but oh well. Can't make an omelette without breaking a few eggs. Here is our Thug Devil, for reference, and he's got a lifelong protection on him. He's going to hold for a while and then attack rear. We've got a couple of fire elementals, plenty of tough troops, and then we've got a lot of skeletons, chaff, ghosts and things. Plenty of stuff that can hold the line here. And I think the orcs are in a pretty bad place just because of all the foul vapors damage they're taking on their good troops. So let's just keep watching for a bit. I know that we did get some buffs off. I saw some strength of giants and things, but I don't think I really got weapons of sharpness up on anyone important. What I actually should have done, I think, is moved some of my mages forward a bit and done more evocation. I was relying a little bit too much on the foul vapors. So in go the fire snakes, and they are doing good damage. In go some good quality troops, and they're doing pretty well. And we're just seeing lots of poison damage coming in here. Lots more poison shots from the Globadiers now. They've overcome their fixation on the Will-O-the-Wisps, and they're now dumping poison all over these orcs, which is very nice. The lifelong protections I have been great, just keeping the battle in my favour. Yeah, this is turning into a bit of a charnel house. We're losing quite a few of our fire snakes and things. Fire snakes are doing pretty well though. Look at their log, we can see them throwing out a lot of damage and even just heat fatigue onto people. Fire elementals move to the front but not quite go into battle. This squad of good quality troops is doing okay. Oh, here goes our devil. So this is our devil thug. I think I mentioned at the time this is not a very sensibly built thug. This is not really enough hit points to make use of the Ring of Regen, and he hasn't quite got enough different protections to keep himself completely safe in this battle. So I think he's going to suffer a little bit if these... Yeah, here's the problem. Look, this big squad of hard-hitting, tons of attacks coming out. He's going to take a bunch of those to the face. He has got a lifelong protection that's helping him. So an Earth Elemental's doing well up there, and the Fire Elementals are getting stuck in as well. The orcs have kind of collapsed on this front. Looks like a lot of their sacreds are dead. Ooh, our devil has taken a fair bit of damage. He's not doing so well. He's not become enraged from the loon slime yet, though, which is good. If he becomes enraged, he might hit himself, which would be bad. More poison stuff coming in. We see the shaman. Oh, this one's managing to get away. He's got a bit of poison resistance. He's managed to avoid the foul vapors. The ghosts have attacked on this side, and they've done okay. I think a couple of them have got killed. You know, they don't have any protection at all, so if you break through their ethereal with a hit, then they just die. Let's have a look at our devil. He is in a bad shape, and now he is enraged. So being enraged is really bad. He's super harassed because he's getting all these attacks. He's got no defense left, so he's just relying on his fire shield and his protection. And against that level of hitting these, high damage attacks, it's just not enough. So I think he's... Oh, they have broken... No, he died. He really nearly got away with it. They were actually fleeing there. They've routed, but they managed to kill him as they routed. Yeah, so the rest of our force is just coming in to mop up. You can see as the enemy flees that the lifelong protection of the imps being here is really useful because it actually blocks and slows down some of the enemies as they're trying to flee. And we'll have the opportunity to just pick a few more of them off as the imps come in and stop them. Not doing a great job of stopping their sacreds, but they have stopped a shaman there, that's nice. He's got stuck just on the edge of the battlefield. Are they going to be able to keep him there long enough for something else to attack him? Oh, maybe. Maybe. Be nice to pick that shaman off just right at the end of the battle. Oh! This is... Oh, he's gone yet. There we go. So just tons and tons of imps coming and killing stuff. Interestingly, we even saw the Cauldron of 1,000 Poxes take a bunch of poison damage there, despite having poison resistance 10. Nobody cast Favour of Nurglich on him, and 10 is not enough to stop you from taking damage from foul vapors. So they are able to kill themselves, which is very Skaven. So should we have a look at the damage that we took there? Let's have a look. So starting off with what the Greenskins took, they lost 2 Orc Big Bosses. I don't think that killing Orc military leaders is terribly important. We didn't manage to get the more important one, which was this guy, much higher quality and capable of turning into a War Boss. We did get 1 of the 2 Shamans, not 2 of them. Maybe the other one didn't escape though. We killed all of the Black Orcs. We killed... These things don't matter. I'm not, it's like our chaff. They just don't matter. Here is the real damaging ledger for the Greenskins. 9 Goblin Loons, each of which, they're not super expensive, of course. They actually are like, they're 12 gold each, which is, they're great for 12 gold as a sacred. But because they're kind of limited in the number that you can get, losing 125 of them is it's not brilliant for the Orcs, yeah. So I'm pretty happy to have killed that many of those. Killing a bunch of Black Orcs is great because Black Orcs are very nasty and tough. And Orc Biggins are also okay troops. They're pretty decently statted troops. They're not very exciting. Basically, killing lots of Orc troops is not that good, and it's not the way that I'm going to win the war, though. It might dissuade the Greenskin player, but they just have tons of troops. So what did we lose in the process? Well, we lost our Devil Thug, which means that we, because he can't pass on his lifelong protection to somebody else, we also lost a lifelong protection for sure, which sucks. Boulder Pack Master, I don't really mind about that. Adept of the Silver Order, that's pretty bad. Not really happy about losing one of those. And I don't think he did anything useful in the battle, so I shouldn't have moved him in, really. We lost a Warlock. That's okay. Warlocks are not that exciting. I think he didn't really have much in the way of items either. We lost 2 of our Warlock Engineers. Not great. Pretty expensive. Yeah, I mean, they're more expensive than Orc Shamans, and only took out 1 of the Orc Shamans. We didn't lose our Troll King, although I think he Ring of Returning Tome, which is fine. He was... I just really didn't want to risk him because he's pretty valuable. Didn't lose any of our Spectral Mages. And then troops-wise, Foulspawn losses, fine, don't care. Couple of Ghosts, that's okay. Rats, Imps, doesn't matter. Plague Monks, that's okay. 4 of our Poisonwind Mortar teams, that's a little bit annoying to lose that many. 14 Storm Vermin, okay, we lost some of them, that's not ideal either. 17 Council Guard and 7 Fire Snakes. These are a bit more valuable to us, really. Losing 7 Fire Snakes is not very sensible behaviour, but strategically speaking, we won the battle. I think for the war effort, this is good because this was the battle over the throne, and we can now see that we have a storming of the fortress. So before I look at Kratos and Llama, which is basically just me dealing with some indies. In fact, I'll just show that quickly. That we went and took the indies very easily. I don't think people are terribly interested in watching those, but yeah, lost some slaves and things, lost a little bit of council guard, but basically just killed tons of knights and things. Actually, that one might be interesting to watch just to see what our Shadow Blasts managed to do. So our plan here was to use some summons and some Shadow Blasts, and not very much in the way of good troops, just some chaff and stings, and just to see if we can take the knights out of the way. Let's just watch the knights to Evans. Bit of Falling Frost, bit of Banefire, bit of Fire Elemental annihilating things. Falling Frost miss. Here comes some Shadow Blasts. Let's watch. Yeah, not bad. They kind of missed is the problem. Oh, a Falling Frost misses. A Banefire hits a few of them. Yeah, so the evocation kind of worked, but maybe our mages were a little bit far away, so their accuracy wasn't great. The Falling Fire hit some of our Council Guard. That's okay. So let's watch the battle at the fortress. So this wasn't very basically I wasn't sure what would actually survive out of the troops that were there on the outside to manage the storm, so I just threw what was there in, and yeah, it's not a great army. It's there's a little bit of poison wind coming in, there's a little bit of mage support. I think he probably might... No, he hasn't got any gems left, so you won't see a fire elemental over there, but the flame spirit will be casting some evocations. And then just some chaff and some ghosts. The ghosts are quite nice at fort storming. But the enemy really doesn't have anything either. They've got a great shaman. It would be nice to kill these 1, 2, 3, 4 shaman, a windmaster, and a couple of goblin shaman. I mean, these are very, very cheap mages. We've also got a siren. Yeah, it'd be nice to pick off the siren. Yeah, so this would make up for the mage losses that I took in terms of the scales of war. Killing these mages would be very good, and of course taking the fort is nice. They have very bad archers on their walls, so I'm just going to play this one through, and we'll see what happens. Their short bows are not doing very much. We haven't got much fire coming back from us. But their magic is not really very focused here on doing anything useful. They haven't got much in the way of defenders. Will o' the Wisps go in. Let's watch. Bit of falling fires. Didn't really hit anything. Looks like this is going to get gummed up in the doorway here, and they've got some undead and things coming in to gum this up. They've got a couple of sacreds here too. They'll be a bit tougher. Falling fires managed to roast a bunch of their archers, which is nice. The ghosts are coming through the wall. Just like to see that. Unfortunately, getting stuck on a skeleton, which is a meaningless thing. Oh, another falling fire's landed quite nicely. This earth elemental will be good against these goblin sacreds because he tramples and they're size 1. He'll just absolutely flatten them. That's something to bear in mind if they're sending loads of sacreds in. I should send lots of evocation, but also earth elementals. Yeah, look at that. Earth elemental just hoovering up those sacreds, blocking the doorway. The ghosts have managed to attack the rear, but they've been picked off by dust to dust. Yeah. Oh well. Earth elemental's doing great, and his regen is keeping him in the fight. Let's speed this one up. So he's going to help hoover up these undead. Very useful. Great work by the Earth Elemental. We've got our Bane, who's actually a very strong Bane. He's picked up some items from the commanders that got killed in the previous battle. He's just running around slapping people with his Bane Blade. Very nice. And let's watch what happens. They're basically starting to fatigue out these mages. There's a few more undead coming out of them, but Earth Elemental is the absolute all-star of this, though. Oh my god. He's killed so much stuff. And he's just kept regenerating and keeping himself in the fight. And our undead are overwhelming their undead, and their mages have not got that much left. In the Earth Elemental goes in again and starts killing the mages. Oh my god. A medal for this Earth Elemental. Good lord. How many kills did you get? I don't think we can tell, but good lord. Maybe if we look in the individual unit log, we can view Earth Elementals. I'm not sure if you're allowed to look at Earth Elementals in here. Here he is. Is it going to tell me? No, it doesn't tell me how many kills and things he's got. But you can see him just splatting stuff throughout the entire battle. Really good performance. I am going to remember that about Earth Elementals against the Goblin Sacreds. They are fantastic. So I'm really going to remember that. Anyway, we take the fortress. We take the throne. And yeah, that's all good news for us. We also defeated their god, killed their god, and so that means that other province wasn't attacked and it's fine. We've got some unexpected events to go through, and then let's just go through what my plan is for the next turn. In the wake of Famine comes Plague. Great, yeah, we'd love to see that. A huge barbarian horde has attacked in Zharr-Naggrund, so that's some more indies I have to deal with. We have found a warpstone seam, always very nice to have. Feel almost guilty from the advantage I get from those. Almost guilty. Coast Haven, we lose a bunch of our population as well as having to deal with the Indies. I hate barbarian invasions, they really do suck. The Eternal Expanse, we have got some loss of Dominion there. By the way, the Expanse is a really good show, give that a watch if you haven't. An unexpected event is good in the middle. We get some more population. For once, a nice population event. And then in Coast Haven, of course, we get attacked. This is in one of our blood hunting provinces, and we actually win this one. So let's watch this. So a good sized horde of barbarians. So why do they lose? Well, we just have tons of giant rats there. We have a little bit of province defense, but it's basically giant rats. Oh, and we get summon imps from our molds and mutator. He just defaults to casting summon imps, I think. So the imps will help delay them. The rats are actually pretty good at killing barbarians. You'd be surprised how quickly they manage to chew through barbarians. If you watch the front line of barbarians, you can see them getting taking like lots of 7s and 6s in terms of damage. And there are a few of them going down. So yeah, I think it's just weight of numbers. Yep. So well done. Nice to keep hold of one of my provinces, not lose it. But then Zharr-Naggrund, this is the big barbarian invasion. It's similar size, but more of them with swords, so a bit tougher. And we just only have province defense there, so obviously that's totally one-sided. And there are a lot of barbarians still left, but very easy for us to deal with. Right. Lack of supplies in Latian. Did I do anything about this? Yes, I am moving a bunch of the rats out with Bog, so I've dealt with that problem. So let's look at the Indies quickly first. So what we suddenly deal with the Indies? Well, it's loads of our sacreds, and then I've sent a evocation caster with, buffed up fire magic, and he's just going to cast falling fires on them basically. And then we've sent in some rats. So we know we'll win that. Maybe we'll lose a couple of counter guard. Not sure. What are we doing on the Orky front? Well, over here. So an interesting thing in Dominions 5 is that if you are besieging somebody, your assassins, unless they have Wall Climber, which in this version of the Skaven they do not, in future versions they do, the Skaven assassins, they can't assassinate the people inside. But if the enemy besieges me, they can't patrol, so they can't catch the assassins, and the assassins can just freely assassinate the people who are trying to besiege it. So what I'm doing here is just, I haven't built any, well maybe I'll put one in. I haven't got the province defense or anything there. What I'm going to do is just let them move on top of it and siege it. That's absolutely fine by me. I'm claiming the throne. The throne is the Throne of Luck, which is not one of the better ones, but I would like the 2 pearls. That would be nice. Getting more Dominion spread is always good. And I've just put my guys inside. I'm summoning up some troops. I've got some fire snakes being summoned up, and I think... Is that it? Maybe I should summon up a... some plague rats that I can just send out to annoy them as well. Those are always good fun. Yeah, summon out some plague rats. But yeah, I'm going to let them basically just move on top of that, and then I'll just assassinate outside. Be annoying. I've got Valgamu here. I've got Ratskit. Those are both good assassins. I can make more Black Hearts and make more assassins. I can turn any of my Warlocks and things into assassins. It's extremely annoying for the enemy. I might, in fact, make another assassin if I've got a Blood 1 mage somewhere. I'm pretty sure that I had a Blood 1 mage kicking around somewhere. Here you go, Sinsgrot. You are going to forge me another Black Heart. Thank you. Yeah, so basically hiding there. I'm sending one strikeout, which is that I've built this little mini thug. Lyduk the Spectral Mage is going to buff himself up, and then he is just going to rely on lifeline protection to keep the enemy off him, and then he'll just polish them off and basically Frostbrand and Horror Helm his way through them. So I'm pretty confident he'll just take that. If it goes wrong, then you can call me silly in the comments. So this one I'm just going to let them take. Down here I'm going to put up a Spirited Resistance, which will include doing another Foul Vapors trap. So do I have people here that I'm worried about the Foul Vapors just killing? Not really. I mean, my god might take some, but they've got regen. They're going to stay there because it's good Dominion. Possibly Gutter Claws could be at risk, but he's not a super important Gracier. And he is casting in favour of Nurglitch. They all basically are casting in favour of Nurglitch around here. So we're going to have tons of favour of Nurglitch going off. And the basic idea is just hold the troops back, plenty of them on Guard Commander, and be spamming out raised skeletons and things. Let Foul Vapors hurt the enemy, and in fact, you should be back here as well. Put out some weapons team fire, and let the Plague Rats loose at the front. I would like to see how the Plague Rats do. I believe I have Plague Rats in this battle. Do I? I really thought that I did. I moved them somewhere else. Okay, just a second, I'm going to check this. Okay, having checked, instead what I'm doing is I'm having some people cast Plague Rats. They'll default to the middle of the battlefield, run into the enemy and get plague everywhere. And I'm actually having Sharp Eyes go and attack with a bunch of rats and Plague Rats because it's funny. I just want to see what happens if I just throw a bunch of Plague Rats into like a force of enemies if they're patrolling there. In fact, because that's less likely, they're more likely to move over there, and then I'll just hit province defense, which isn't the best thing for the Plague Rats to be doing. I think I'll attack that army instead, because they're more likely to bump, or maybe they don't move, or another one moves in or something, and I get to do some Plague Rats. But this is really just a little experiment. I don't really know how well the Plague Rats work at doing that, and I'm just going to see what happens. I've got some more assassins moving into here. I've got a bunch of assassins doing assassinations over here. So if their troops are trying to move into there, maybe they'll pick off some of the commanders and stop some of them from moving in. We'll see what happens. My god is perfectly capable of doing some defense over there, and they're casting some Molder Pit Breeding to just have some more chaff. But yeah, I think we'll be able to hold that one, unless they put absolutely everything into it and lots more mages. So we'll see how that goes. Elsewhere, we've got lots more assassins doing assassinations. I expect them to have kind of mixed results, but it's good to keep the enemy off balance and pick off some of their commanders who are leading troops. Fourth, reinforcements are being moved in, particularly into this cave province. You can see plenty of weapons teams and some storm vermin and some of these doom wheels, which will be very good against their sacreds. A few rats and things moving in as well. We're casting another horde from hell to give us wall defenders over here. And we are forging a ring of sorcery. The ring of sorcery gives you all the sorcery paths, so it's blood, nature. Actually, I'm not sure if it does blood, but it definitely does nature, death, and astral. And that will allow us to get our death up high enough so that when we've got conjuration level 8, which will be next turn, we will be able to cast Well of Misery, I think, because we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 we need. And we will have, sat in this province, my friend Skritter, who is on 5, will have the ring, pushing it up to 6, and we'll be able to cast Well of Misery with our death gems. That's why we're not casting another Wraithlord this turn, by the way. I'm forging a pocket ship because I've never done anything with a pocket ship. It gives us the ability to sail some troops, and I think it would be quite funny to sail some troops and sack these provinces, so I'm just doing that because it's interesting. I'm not really doing any conjuration stuff this turn, not casting or forging anything else big, just forging a bunch of lightless lanterns. So hopefully we'll get another nice big battle next turn, but basically that's a lot. I've already talked a lot about this turn because there were lots of fun fights to watch, and that'll be it for now. I will see you next turn.